gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to the Wednesday week, the Sheffield Wednesday podcast. I'm Lord Hillsborough, and with me on the line, first of all, we have Mr. Fudge. Hello there, Fudge, old boy.
Hola, como estas, folks? Bit of more European language there for you. Next week, Italian.
Check him out. And also then we've got Beastie. Hello there, Beastie, old boy.
How do? That's a little bit more European language for you. Yorkshire.
So then, chaps, let's crack straight on with some football. We've got quite a lot to get through, gents. And let's start off with win against Barnsley, chaps. A very important game. The proverbial 6-pointer. And it went our way, all in all.
It did, and I've got to be honest, I was a bit worried before this. It just had all the hallmarks of a really big banana skin. Like Barnsley are on this big run, which always seemed to be slightly better than the run that we've been on, which made it even more annoying. So I thought, when they came to ours, I thought, they're going to do us here. And to be fair to them, I thought they did play pretty well. They had good possession, but the only thing that matters is the result, and we got that part of it.
Absolutely.
So I'd rather have the result and let them whinge about, like the guy on. I don't know if you listened to him on Praise or Grumble after the game. He rung in and said, I've just been to the game, and if I had to pay to watch Wednesday play like that, I won't go. And me and Young were looking at each other and thinking, well, you've just been to the game and you've just paid to watch Wednesday play like that. What are you talking about, you daft dingle?
Bless the little cotton sock.
You can have all the plaudits for playing the better football. You can have all the plaudits you want for your style of football and your attitude to the game. And we'll have the 3 points for the win, thank you.
Absolutely. As we said, it was a bit tenuous there up to the first goal. Was it really? Both sides had the chances. We were sitting back a few points there, BC. But was it really sort of was it one side, or was it equal until the goals?
No, I think the first half, to be fair, were a pretty even affair overall. Kirkland did pull out a couple of really, really top draw saves at crucial times, but I've read what other people have been saying about the game, and they were saying that it was a rubbish first half and what have you. It entertained me. When you're being entertained, don't you? Because the 45 minutes just absolutely flies past. Now, whether that's because I'm a simple bloke with simple thoughts and very, very easy to please, I don't know, but I enjoyed that first half. It went by quick. It was good to see the new guys, Holden and Olapinjana in there, mixing it up. I enjoyed that first half. And like I say, it got even better in its second half.
Go on.
Go on, I'll ask you.
I tell you what, I was listening to the last show, last night, as it goes, and apparently Gary Medine was a broken machine. He got himself on the score sheet. Lewis Buxton was still amazing. He got himself sent off. Ollie Fangita was a poor signing. Do you know what I mean?
Take that back about Lewis Buxton, because...
Ding ding, round one.
I've got the Sheffield Wednesday calendar up in my bedroom, because those who follow me on Instagram will know I've got the bedroom of a 10-year-old boy. And I've had to stare at his chubby little minuscule munchkin face for the past month. And it's only because we've now gone into April, is it now Chris Kirkland's turn to get up on my wall. And I don't know who I dislike looking at more. Lewis Buxton because I don't like him, or Chris Kirkland because he looks like he likes dogs.
He doesn't like dogs and he can take a punch. Look, right, Lewis Buxton is... You need to get on board, Fudge. He's an absolute diamond, and that ball that he put in against Barnsley for Gary Medine wide machine to the tap hole, right? I'm telling you now, fruit bag were down. The fruit bag were down. That ball was absolutely fantastic.
Well,
I won't hear a word against him.
All right. Well, we'll agree to disagree on that one then. But I think the last 10 minutes we made it difficult for ourselves, missing penalties, conceding, and again we've talked about this before on the show quite a lot about the crowd getting a bit anxious and getting on the back of the players, and we've obviously look on Twitter and we've got Lord Hillsborough's special own brand of squeaky bum cream.
I'm running out.
We were 2-0 up. What do we need it for? But then it transpired we needed it by the end. But you've got to look at Barnsley's squad and the way that Flitcroft's got him. Is it Flitcroft?
Yes.
Yeah, the way he's got him playing. Like look at Marlon Harewood. Yeah, he's not rubbish, but he's not the best. He's a battering ram. And it's square pegs, round holes. But we had round pegs for round holes. We had Raider and we had Gardner. We had Garner and Lehrer up against Harewood, and they're big shot kickers themselves. Do you know what I mean? So we marked that well, but players like Atuhu, now bear in mind this is a player that only plays for Barnsley because nobody else would want him because of his, let's say, sketchy past.
Antics.
I think he got the Spanish archer, the elbow, from Manchester City. So I mean, this is a guy that's got some talent, and well, we kept him at bay for a lot of the game. All right, I think he was the one that was instrumental in the build-up for their goal, if I remember rightly. But yeah, I thought we weathered it well. But we don't need to be missing penalties in the last 10 minutes.
To be fair, I mean, Mr. Medine did try his hardest to miss the goal that he scored. I don't know if you saw that chance, but it was somewhat of a scuff. And if you look at the expression on his face while he was watching it, it wasn't really too keen himself.
No. To be fair to Gary Medine, he had a cracking game. Even if he hadn't scored, he'd still had a cracking game up to that point. I don't think he missed a header all game. So if he could have headed penalty in, he'd have scored. But there was something about that penalty. Luke Steele went up to him and gave him the ball, and he said something to him. And he pushed the ball into his chest, into Medine's chest. Now we all know that Medine likes to mix it up in middle of Sheffield, and he likes
Gary
to put
Medine.
it about. Yeah.
Are we talking about the same player here?
Gary Medine torching machine. Yeah.
Allegedly.
He likes to mix it up, but on the football pitch, it's the softest sack of you know what that there is to walk on a football pitch. And Luke Steele, all he did was pick the ball up, walked over to him, muttered some words like, I don't like you much, and pushed it into his chest, and that was it. It put him off. Ball nearly went out for a throw. It was just a rubbish penalty. Where, and all it did was just put us, like you said, Budge, it made us all edgy then, and he could have done away with all that with that one shot. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of gets the crowd on the back. When they can sense a team on the up and us on the back foot, we're not the best crowd for that, for getting behind the players, are we?
No, and it would it would have been unfair, really, because it wasn't really a penalty. It hit him in the face, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
It wasn't a handball, even though we do like to shout handball at Barnsley. It just hit the lad in the face, so...
Of course, on with Rock, of course, I think it was Joe Gowan and Mr. Reader popped up and fair enough, unmarked, nice little run and a belting little head again, chaps. Reader, he's been in and out, but we're glad to see him back. We'll come on to his performance against Bristol in a moment or two. But, for the rest of the game, basically, did he look his old self?
He definitely looked his old self, because in the first 20 minutes he was absolutely awful. I think he was so far behind every tackle. They were running him ragged down that side, and they were clearly targeting his side because they had the beating of him every time. And Gardner had to be right on his mettle just to protect us down that side. And every time Raider was out of position or he missed a tackle, and he missed a lot, then Gardner were there to clean up after him. But there's something about having that bloke in the side, isn't there? He doesn't have to do anything for 90 minutes, and then he pops up. And
he looks like Mr. T. I'd get behind him.
Yeah, yeah. And it was just a typical Reader header. He goes, it was from a free kick, wasn't it, by Lehrer, which he'd had one only a couple of minutes before and made a right Orlick of it. And so this time we were obviously expecting it to do the same, but they were ready to ramp back to nod it home, and it won't. It sent us into hysterics. We were loving it. And all the Dingles started making the ways out.
It was the same feeling. It was the same feeling for me, Beastie, as, do you remember when the ball got flicked over and the Barnsley defender did it, and we're going back a few years here, and the one and only Paolo Di Canio ran onto it. It was something like the 89th minute, and rounded their keeper, textbook four-time style, and we stood there and sang his name for about 40 minutes after the game. It was that same feeling. I don't really care about Barnsley, I must admit. I don't hate them as much as what I do the Blades, for example. But there's something about that game where they kind of want to muscle in onto our hatred for the other Sheffield club. They've kind of picked us as their same with Rotherham. They've kind of picked us as their big rivals, big local rivals. But to us, they're some little mongoloid cousin that we don't really give a chuff about. Do you know what I mean? It's the same with Huddersfield. Why are they picking on us? We don't give a chuff about you. Go and pick on Leeds. They're close.
No, I couldn't agree more, old boy. Could not agree more. So, chaps, let's have a little discussion about the Barnsley goal. Of course, they got a little bit of a consolation at the end there. And to be fair, chaps, a decent enough goal.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he struck it well. And for it to beat Kirkland in the form that he's in, you need to strike it well. Otherwise, he's going to stop it. He's that good. If he can get a fingertip, he must have the strongest wrists of any keeper, Kirkland. It's just incredible. One of them shots that he palmed away would have broken anybody else's arms, but he just palmed it away like it were nothing. So if you're going to score against him, you've got to crack it absolutely perfectly, and that's what he did. And unfortunately, it gave them a lot of belief, and they really set about putting us under pressure. And I think Alt Dingles started coming back down the tunnel to watch the game again. Most of them, I'm not kidding, not most of them, but a lot of them had made the way out before Medine got that penalty. At 2-0, they were on the way home. As soon as he scored that, a load of them came back in. So it put us under pressure, and really we could have done without it. Well, I can at my age. It was making me a little bit edgy.
There was fruit all over the place.
Well, no, I was clutching my fruit very, very tightly. I'm telling you, you couldn't get a bus ticket between cheeks of my ass.
But why would you try? So then, chaps, on we go. Before we crack on with the Bristol game, now let's have a little quick chat about these loan signings that we've got in. Of course, we've got Stuart Holding, the Scottish American, Mr. Olifanjani, and I've been practicing that one all day. And
you still got it wrong.
And I still got it wrong.
Take another couple of days practicing it, I think.
And of course, Beastie, I shall let you introduce the third, because I know you've been extraordinarily excited about this one, old boy.
Well, no, not really. It's not special, is it? It's just Stevie. No, I'm lying. It is special. It is special.
Beastie, I've seen this building up on Twitter. You're going to have to explain this to me.
What do I need to explain?
Why are you gay for a 36-year-old man who's... I don't understand it.
I think it were... when he played for Luton...
when they were good in the Championship and nearly played Premier League football?
No, when they were good in League One.
Right.
The season that we went up with Sturrock.
Yeah.
Luton had a cracking side at that time. They won the league, didn't they?
Yeah.
Right. He played for them, and we were going to sign him. I think we put a bid in of $500,000 for him. And they were coming to us. The deal were done. Right. He were coming to Wednesday. And I were all over that because I thought, this is exactly the sort of player that we want. He's a huge bloke, but he's got really quick feet. Right, so we've got the best of both worlds now. Any high balls going in there, he's going to nod them home. But he can also blam them home as well. He can also lay ball off. To me, at that time, he was the perfect player for us. And for some reason, I just clung on to that. And now that transfer that we're almost done and dusted and we were having him, Luton turned round the day after and said, just as we'd announced it, I think, on website, saying he's coming to us, Luton turned around and said, oh no, Ian, there's no deal done, you can't have him. So there were a bit of bad blood between the two clubs at the time, but for me, I clung on to that. right? And for nearly 10
How
years,
long?
Have we got the violin music for that, Lord?
for nearly 10 years, I've waited patiently, right? I've sat here, people have mocked me, right? They've lampooned me, they've mercilessly had a go at me for 10 years about this, saying, let it go, he'll never come, it's over, he's too old, right? And I've told them, stop, right? One day he will play for us. One day Stevie Yard will play for Wednesday. He will pull that shirt on, right? Stevie Yard, 3 A's, right? Stevie Yard will play for the Wednesday one day. I don't care that he might be 58-year-old, right? One day he will play for us, and here he is. Only 56.
Is it because you're in the same year as school at him? Is that what it is?
That might have something to do with it.
Yeah, well, Stevie had left school a long time before BC popped along. And, I mean, to be fair, he looks to be doing okay so far. Mr. Stuart Holden, he said BC, and go on, Olafanjani. Help me out here, chaps. Olafanjani.
That's two pronunciations out of two so far.
Ollie Fangita.
That's the fella. And you said they both impressed you, boy.
Well, I was so disappointed. I built myself up like a little girl, right, for the Barnsley game to be Stevie Yard's big debut. I had this dream, and I kid you not, right, I'm not making this up for the podcast, but I had a dream that night before the game that he scored, and he came over towards us and hugged me. When I woke up in the morning, there were fruit everywhere. Right.
I've heard it called that before, Beast.
Right. And when we got to the game and they were saying, no, he can't play because we've too many loans, I was so disappointed. I almost went home. I thought, well, there's no point, is there? But yeah, the other two lads started the game, and they were both fantastic. I really enjoyed watching them both. Okay, they looked a little bit lacking in match fitness, but if we can get that up in the next few games, they are going to be a fantastic asset for us in this running. Both of them. Holden has such a good understanding of high work rate, and Olafanjani is such a beast. He is exactly what we need in that centre midfield. He is a monster. So good debuts by both of them, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of them.
Right.
I'm very happy with Stuart Holden specifically. I remember when Bolton were in the Prem and watching him. He's quality. He's got a big future in front of him, this kid. And the longer we can keep hold of him, the better. If we can hold on to Holden.
Beautiful.
I think we'll have a hell of a midfield there. I do like Ollie Fangita, but like BC says, they're obviously without a bit of game time, but they're going to be cracking signings for us. They're the best loan signings we've had all season for me. Up there with Lita.
Just behind Stevie Yard. Can you stop that, please?
So, chaps, we'll crack on, shall we, to the Bristol game. Again, another proverbial 6-pointer. Maybe not quite as much as this we're after there, chaps, but it must be said, Bristol, did they play well or did we play particularly badly?
Well, I'll let you have your say first this time, Fudge.
Fudge was there incognito, I do believe, Fudge, old boy.
It was. Other side.
The amount of away ends I've sat in this season is...
It's a family podcast, old boy. It's a family show.
What I've done, I've got a good... Like we alluded to, I've got a good mate who's a City fan, and as long as we stay up, I wouldn't mind them staying up. I think they're a nice family club, and they love a cider, so that's all right. Speaking of family places, though, there is a pub outside the Ashton Gate ground called BS3, which is alludes to the postcode of the area which Ashton Gate's in. It's the worst thing. I mean, people back in the day, if you ever remember the County Borough pub in Rotherham, it was worse than that. It was awful place. But I am now very good at doing a Bristol accent and ordering a cider. And if anybody's had a Natch and it's a cider there, and a Clark's Pie, they're worth the trip to the West Country. Clark's Pie's on their own. But apart from that, my lover, the game itself, I tell you what, Sean O'Driscoll. He gets the team playing beautiful football, and you'll hear my friend Dan banter on about Liam Fontaine being past it. He's been with the club about 6-7 years, so they've got their frailties, but they've got a bit of allegiance to some of the players, which is kind of nice in a way, but you kind of want to go, well, dude, things need to move on a bit. And part of me, that's why I like Jones, because Jones has got no loyalty.
None whatsoever.
If they're not performing, they're out on their arse. It's as simple as that. Which I quite like about him. So I'm kind of on the fence with it. But City came at us. City played some lovely passing football, but they were a long way away from when Gary Johnson was in charge, and everyone was super fit and everybody ran 100 miles an hour. I remember it was one of the first games of the season about 5 years ago, and it was City ended up finishing in the top 5 in the playoffs. They got to a playoff final against Hull, and I remember they had a good few players that could run. I mean, seriously run. And they're a shadow of that team, and they're a shadow of that club. And it's a big ask for them to get out of where they are. But judging with the results around us in that relegation area, it's nice to have a team that's actually dead and buried, because Barnsley and Peterborough just will not roll over and die.
No, you're right, old boy. I mean, as you say, Bristol did. I must admit, chaps. I mean, I was expecting a win out of this one until we played the first sort of 15 minutes, and I was a little bit worried myself.
Well, that first 20 minutes, probably half an hour. I thought they were by far the best side. Going forward, they look sharp. The number 7 for them, I don't know who he is, but he attacking raider every time, just as Barnsley had done. They'd spotted that he was our weak link. They were coming down that side. But even when they went down the other side, they were still getting the ball in. And we had to rely on Liera getting every single high ball that came his way. And he did. He absolutely ate everything up. He was incredible. Nothing got past him. And when eventually we did score, I've got to tell you, it was against a run of play. JJ had 2 little sorties already. He'd run forward towards the goal, shimmy in, and put it way, way wide, and then had another goal, got a little bit closer, but it was still wide. So when he finally got the ball at his feet from, I hasten to add, a Stevie Ard header, dropped on a Tanner to his feet. Right, dropped on a Tanner to his feet.
You're going to have to explain that one to me, Beastie. Tanner, that was some form of currency back in the old
It was,
days,
yeah.
right?
I think it was equal to a bag of salt. But yes, he dropped it perfectly for him. And JJ set up on his bike, he's running towards the goal. He had the keeper to beat. All the Wednesday fans are thinking, yeah, it's JJ, we know he's going to mess up. He kept going. The keeper came out. He kept going, and we still thinking, yeah, it's JJ, he's going to mess up. He went round the keeper. He only had to slide the ball home into an empty net. And still the Wednesday fans are thinking, well, we'll not get excited just yet because we know where this is going. And even when he kicked the ball towards the open net, and it went into the back of the net, and we all saw the net moving, all Wednesday fans still paused and thought, well, it's JJ. Has it got it yet?
I tell you, honestly, Beast, no word of a lie. I mean, I think the City fans were cursing before the Wednesday fans were cheering, purely because everybody at the blue and white end was just waiting for the net to bulge. Do you know what I mean? When you were at the keeper, you heard a couple of big, oh crap, and oh my god, and all that, and Wurzels or something, and then yeah, the Wednesday fans silent. It weren't until JJ's run off celebrating, and the net's bulged. Did the Wednesday fans? Yeah. All right then. Like a little nod to each other.
I've also got to tell you a little embarrassing moment that happened just before that, when I got really caught up in the moment. when the ball came in to the Bristol City box, and it came in high, and Stevie Hard jumped in towards the ball to head it into the goal. And him and the keeper came together, and just as he went up and thrust his head forward, I let out a little girly scream. Now it wasn't even a forced scream. I was just totally absorbed in watching Stevie Hard, and it came out like a sort of, ah! And I looked to my left, and Youngham were looking at me. She had them forlorn eyebrows. Oh, father!
The ones that you probably see quite a lot, I'm guessing, Vinny.
I do see them a lot, and it was just for shame. I couldn't do anything about it. Do you know what I mean? I was just so caught up in it. Well, my man, this was his moment.
So it's not dropped fruit bags we have to worry about.
The fruit was actually dropped, but the bag was opened.
I think the problem we're going to have now is you keeping your pants on and not throwing them at the players.
Yeah. If instead of Tom Jones getting knickers at him, it'll be Stevie Hard getting boxers thrown at him.
Getting Beastie's Long John's ones.
Fruit bag. I tell you what though, Vince, I put a photo on our Facebook page of you and your daughter, and Eddie commented on there. We should get this girl on to regale us with stories about just the journeys you have.
Because wonderful idea.
I'd love to hear it from her perspective, mate.
No, you don't need.
Just no.
No, she's dreadful.
Does she swear a lot or something? Is that why we can't have one? Yeah, is it? We'll go with.
She swears all the time, yeah.
Thanks after a father. So, chaps, back to the football. And as I say, beautiful goal by JJ after he'd gone in and we'd all seen it hit the net. And but again, as I said, Beast, it was against the run of play. Another thing that seemed to be against the run of the game is taking JJ off as well. I mean, he seems to be Wednesday's best player at that point.
It was, and when he went off, it must have been a surprise to everybody because he was the only one that looked like creating anything. But he must have been injured. He absolutely must have been injured. Otherwise, there's no, what you're thinking, taking off the one bloke who's changed the game. So, maybe he did take a knock, I don't know. But, I mean, Leroy came on in place of him, didn't he? And almost straight away, he was straight into action.
What was that noise? Did you just drop a fruit bag at the mention of Leroy Lita?
It's just a bit of an injury.
I think he must have been injured as well. I think I like watching JJ. He excites me a little bit. It's nice to have an exciting player because we're not really renowned for flair players since the days of Di Canio and Carboni. But to have a player like JJ who don't mind having a run at somebody, I like it. And I was watching him and I didn't see him limping. I didn't see him holding it. I didn't see him signalling to the bench that he wants to come off, like that. But to be fair, like, we got a good 50 minutes out of JJ. I'm happy with that. I think it was one of them quit while you're ahead moments. Do you know what I mean? Like, hey, me having a good game, quick, get me out.
Yeah.
I also think it's the first time that JJ shot from inside of the box of the whole season, chaps. It's usually sort of just gets past the halfway line. That's a crack.
Yeah, that's true enough, and I think it's the most he's ever had a ball under control ever in his Sheffield Wednesday career. I'm still not convinced it was under control then. But there was a strange moment when Leroy came on because it was getting a bit of pillock off the Bristol City fans. Obviously, a few behind the goal booing him. But he then beat the offside trap, didn't he? And he ran down the side. He got free past their last man, bearing down on goal. He only had the keeper to beat. But he went down the left-hand side and he made the angle really, really narrow and kept the ball on his left foot. And all it needed for him to do was to come out away from the angle, go round the keeper, and he gets a shot on target. And it just looked really, really strange. I don't understand why he was doing that. And he ended up taking a shot with his left foot, which just went into the side netting. And again, it was another situation that could have helped ease the tension for us. Had he shown somebody of his standing should be able to have a little bit of composure, shouldn't they, in front of goal.
I mean, there was a lot of Wednesday fans out there on the tinterwebs mentioning, obviously, after Medine's half-decent game, why he wasn't started. Were you expecting a start from Medine over there, Fudge?
Well, I thought we would, but bear in mind, we had to shift things about in terms of defence because, we're playing away. Buxton, like a silly soul, is suspended, and we had to move things around. Medine on his own don't graft hard enough for me. He kind of wants it all on his head or all at his feet. He's not one to chase a ball, and he's not as clever and as cute as Leroy Lita. I want to say cute. I don't mean I'm gay for him. I mean just the way that Leroy Lita pulls away from the defence and pulls people out of position. I think Lita's excellent at that, and he's very good at that. And I think it was more a tactic because you've got Cunningham and Fontaine, I think, are the two centre backs for them, and sticking somebody like Stephen Howard up in the middle of them, I thought was a tactical thing because I don't think it would have been fruitful to put Medine up on his own, whether his tail's up and or not. But it was nice to see Jose Semedo get back into the fold.
It was, but when they brought Adoma on, he made a big difference to them, didn't he?
He did, and the best difference it was for me was listening to about 10,000 Bristolians going, Albert Adoma. That's hilarious. If you get to hear that close up, that's quite funny.
Well, you were down in the opposite end. Yeah. So what did you make of that penalty shout where he gave the free kick our way and then booked their player for diving? What did you make of that? Because every single Wednesday fan, I'm telling you now, when he went down, every single Wednesday fan in the away end thought that was a penalty. And when he blew, we were all waiting for his arm coming out and pointing to the spot. And all the Wednesday eyebrows were on the roof, right? we were sat there agog, right? And when he pointed the other way, we just couldn't believe it.
No, mate, I think they were in agreement, to be honest. I remember when he went down, I remember thinking, oh, hello. This is, I'm going to get a ribbon about this. But yeah, when it went the other way, I think they were in as much disbelief as we were. It was, there was a lot of cider getting thrown around, a lot of, I don't know, Wurzels mentioned, something, it was something in Bristolian, something about apples or something, I don't know.
Well, once he'd done that, once the ref had done that, he kind of thought, well, this is it then. No matter what they throw at us now, because they had quite a few free kicks right on the edge of the box in those last few minutes, and we were repelling all borders. Liera were absolutely magnificent. Prutton were throwing himself in front of everything, and nothing were getting past us. And when we needed Kirkland to come out and grab the ball and calm everything down, he were there.
Well, and I thought, go on.
Well, I just thought, this is it then. The 3 points are ours because there's nothing they can do to get past us.
This is what I thought, and there was a lot of mutterings. I mean, the general consensus from the people around me were they're down and they're playing for pride and that sort of stuff. But bear in mind as well that they scored in the last minute at Hillsborough to beat us 3-2 or something ridiculous, didn't they? Yeah. And that was a snidey free kick. So when they did get these free kicks, they got quite excited. They were on edge. They were thinking, "Oh, go on then, Albert, do it again." Like you did at their house, or something from outside it. But yeah, they were excited. But I think they genuinely know that they were beaten, and they started getting frustrated.
Yeah, well, as the seconds ticked away of normal time, the Bristol City fans were streaming out in droves, weren't they? I was watching them and they were all going, they'd had enough. And then when he held that board up and it said 5 minutes, and every single Wednesday fan went, 5 minutes? Where the chuff's he got that from? And nobody could fathom it. And that was it. It was suddenly like, oh, it's game on then. You know, it was almost like the thought, well, we've got 90 minutes to save ourselves. and from that moment, it was just constant Bristol City pressure on our goal, and all the Wednesday fans suddenly went from feeling Invincible to feel, like you said against Barnsley, feeling really tetchy and edgy.
Yes.
And, that obviously transferred onto the pitch to our players, and the opposite happened from the Bristol City fans to their players. And it was a strange shift for the final 5 minutes. It was just unbearable, and I spent a lot of time looking down at my shoes and looking behind me and
trying to find some fruit, staring at Stevie Howard. They had as soon as that 5 minute sign went up, it was like Scooby Doo and seeing a ghost. Like, do you know what I mean? And they kind of went, well, do you know what? Let's go for it. And I envied this. Like, do you know what I mean? They were going, come on then, my lovers, or something about cider. Like, come on, let's get behind you, or drink up the cider or something. And they were cheering them on. They were getting behind him. Whereas us in true Wednesday fashion, oh, for God's sake, get rid of it! Get it out, you bloody idiot! Who's paying your bloody wages? Yeah, we had a lot of that.
Yeah, it was unbearable. And unfortunately, you knew what were coming. And on one of the brief moments that I looked up, I saw Kirkland, who had been magnificent throughout the game, come forward. It did look like a foul. Normally, probably 99% of the time, the ref would give a foul on keeper for that, but he didn't give it this time. Ball dropped, it to Baldock? I think it was. And he just leathered it, caught it sweet, and we had no chance. Now, to be fair to him, right, they'd done enough in that game to at least earn a draw. I don't deny it.
I mean, they had a lot more shots on goal than we did, especially on target ones.
I absolutely don't. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with them turning around and saying, well, we deserved a draw. We did enough to win the game. Fine. Right? That's the fair way of looking at it. But I don't give a monkey's chuff about fair. Right? It wasn't fair when Bristol City beat us at our place. Right? No. Because we'd done enough to win that game. They stole the points off us. Here, we got the 3 points, we rolled them up into a nice tight little ball, we stuffed them in his pockets, and we were off on his way. Right? We were taking them 3 points home with us. They'd no right.
In the same place as your fruit bag and dropped them all over the bloody place.
There's absolutely no right to deprive us of those 3 points. Fair schmear. I don't give a toss about fair. Give us back our points. I mean, I like Bristol. I like the city. I like the fans. I like the Bristol Rovers fans as well. It's a great place. Give us back our points!
They said Chris Lyons is on his way down there. We'll see if we can find him.
I'm going to ring him out, Lyonsy. I want the points back.
Oh dear. So then, chaps, of course, it has put us joint third bottom now, chaps. It's getting tighter and tighter down there. It's just so frustrating because, as Fudge said earlier, the teams around us all keep battling back as well, and it's just unbelievable at the moment. We'll pop on to that bit shortly. Anyway, on we go with a little bit more Wednesday news there, boys. First of all, Mr. Cameron Dawson, the under-19s keeper, been called up for an England shout, chaps, once again. We don't pay too much attention to the young ones, maybe a little bit less attention than what we should do on the podcast, but it's got to be good news for that, hasn't it, chaps?
Well, young Wednesday players being called up into the England setup. I've got 3 words for you. Stevie Haslam.
Yes, good point, well made.
Kevin, what was the other kid? Kevin Nicholson? What was he, a fullback or something?
Absolutely, yes. You bet, well done, Cameron. Anyway, we'll crack on.
Well done, man. Good future.
Of course, this week, on the Barnes game, we did have a visitor to Hillsborough to watch the game. Chaps, Mr. John Harks made his return to Hillsborough for the first time since he left. He's entered on the club website. He's been back to England a few times, but always stayed down London way. But he brought his son up to show him around the club and basically show what fantastic fans we are, chaps. Basically, favourite John Harks moment?
Well, it's got to be the goal against Derby, hasn't it?
Absolutely.
How can it not be?
Unbelievable, right?
I mean, don't get me wrong, had he drawn my number out at half-time raffle, then that would have been my favourite one. I'm anybody's for easy cash. But looking at Johnny Arks, he's got to have a pact with Devil Annie because he don't look any different.
It really does not, does he?
Right, it's absolutely disgusting. Don't get me wrong, I look the same as I did when I was 20. It's just that I was ugly when I was 20. But it was nice to see him there, and the reception that he got from Wednesday fans were really, really heartwarming. Because of late we've had a few former players there do it draw, and they've almost gone unnoticed. But it was nice to see John Harkes didn't go unnoticed. So yeah, I like that moment.
Well, I've heard a rumour, basically, that you do realise why he's come back to Hillsborough.
Which is?
New manager's job, chap. We're always after the ex-Wednesday players to come back and managers, aren't we, Beastie?
Hang on a minute, I'll just go and get my taser. I'll still keep plums on the table.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic to see the old boy. Absolutely wonderful. And the club has released a statement this week, chaps, regarding smoke bombs. It seems to be something of a reoccurring factor at Hillsborough ever since last year of the season, of course, when the famous smoke bomb on the pitch being thrown out there. Is this something we need to be worried about, Fudgy? I mean, did you have a smoke bomb aimed at you while you were in the Bristol end?
I didn't know. I'm not a fan of fireworks and such things at football games. A lot of people in an enclosed space, and we all saw what happened at Bradford, for example. Do you know what I mean? And our stadium's not is also synonymous with management of a large amount of people. So I don't. What's the point? Why? I don't get it. Why?
I'll tell you for why. That Wycombe game last season and all the images from it, the smoke bombs that were let off then, when you look at the photos,
it does add to the atmosphere. It does. But a 1-1 draw away at Bristol bloody City.
I know. I'm not defending it, but what I'm saying is this is where it comes from. That moment there, smoke bombs are synonymous with a fantastic feeling from Wednesday fans, and it did create atmosphere, and it makes those pictures what they are. But it is just absolutely ridiculous. I've been at the side of them a few times. I was with a mate and his young lad at Crystal Palace when somebody let one off right at the side of us. My mate's lad, Tomo's lad Jamie, were absolutely in bits because the smoke is all in your face. You can't get out of the way of it. You can't get to pick it up and get shut of it. And whatever the club are doing about it, it's right. I don't give a monkey's what these people say. It don't hurt. It's nothing. It's just a bit of fun. Well, if that's a bit of fun, take it somewhere else because it really gets on my nads. Right? I've had enough of them. And it's just making us look bad. It makes us look second rate. Leave it to some other club and
let a club that nobody likes do it, like bloody West Ham or Millwall or something. You know what I mean? Nobody likes them anyway. You go and have your bloody smoke bombs. Go down there.
Of course, we can't be having things getting on Beastie's nads. He needs plenty of room down there for when he's thinking of Steve Yard.
You should always assume I'm thinking of Stevie Hard.
Well, that's going to keep your fruit bags, old boy. Right, so, chaps, I mean, that's just about all the Wednesday news that I've got from my end. Have you chaps got anything different over there?
I've got to talk. I think he's great. I love him. Paolo Di Canio. Ignore him, Paolo. There is no reason that all this old news needs to get brought up just because you're now in the Premier League. Why it never got brought up when you're at Swindon Town is beyond me. It just goes to show that the media don't give a chuff about anything below the Premier League. Sodom.
It did get brought up at Swindon. They all resigned on board, didn't they? They all said, that's it. If he's going to be at our club, I'm resigning. But what gets me with it is, a while ago, he said, I am a fascist. He did the fascist salute. He went to the funeral of a very high-ranking fascist. And now he's saying, I'm not a fascist. Well, if this were Crown Court on telly from years ago, right, I'm sorry, Paolo, but you'd be hung out to dry. All the evidence, saying you're a fascist doing the fascist salute, mingling with fascists, having a fascist tattoo, the evidence is a little bit overwhelming.
I tell you what, though, all this media coverage about Paolo Di Canio, there's a lot of Sheffield Wednesday. Do you know what I mean? It was what, September the 26th, 1999 or 8? I can't remember. But I remember, it's a good 14, 15 years ago. And we're reminded of Wednesday legends such as Peter Rudy and Emerson Tome just stood there looking in bewilderment. And my favourite bit of that entire clip is that it's Winterburn screaming in his ear, and then he turns around to wipe the blood off his nose, and he bobs out of the way like he's about to slap him. And then
I think that's everybody's favourite moment with Winterburn. Every single, not just every football fan, not just every footballer, but every man lost a little bit of respect for Winterburn at that moment.
The best bit, 2 months later, they were teammates at West Ham.
Absolutely. And he made me laugh with Paolo and said, "Oh well, I used to be friends with Chris Powell. Are you not friends with him anymore? Has he died or?"
But that's textbook response, though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? You, sir, are a racist. I'm not a racist. I've got loads of black friends.
Well, actually, I had loads of black friends.
It's like Cheryl Cole and Ashley Cole, Cheryl Tweedy and Ashley Cole. Do you know what I mean? Oh, people are just calling me a racist. Oh my God, people are calling me gay. Hey, look, let's get married here. See, a lot of rumours put to bed in one fell swoop.
Oh dear.
Allegedly.
Absolutely. So yes, the Paolo saga continues, chaps. I'm sure we'll have much more fun as we go along. Do you think we're going to get many loan signings from Sunderland? Obviously we've had them before. Do you think that's a well that's dried up now, chaps?
Oh, I will not see the likes of Connor Wickham again, will we? No chance. Absolutely no chance.
Now he'll be tied up in a basement somewhere.
Yeah,
right then, so chaps, let's crack on and preview next couple of games. We've got a little bit of a run of games coming up, boys. First one we have is Blackburn, of course, fellow strugglers. Blackburn not doing terribly well at the moment, chaps. How do we see this one going?
Right, I have put a bet on Blackburn and Huddersfield to get relegated and Wigan to stay up. I've put 20 quid on it, and if it comes in, I get 400 money. Blackburn are in absolute free fall. It's a big 6-pointer, and look at the league. It's mental. Anybody from 11th can go down, but at any point we can get is super valuable. But Blackburn are just bloody rubbish. But we have to keep hold of Jordan Rhodes because he tore us apart twice last year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, he didn't tear us apart when we played at their place, did he?
At our place, though. How many did he get?
Yeah, but and same again at end of last season, he didn't tear us apart either at theirs when we beat them 2-0. You know, I think we've learnt from that. He isn't setting this division elite at minute, is he? So I'll be really, really disappointed if we don't beat Blackburn. We owe them one because I thought they stole the points off us again at theirs. And I think we'll get the 3 points back here. This is, to me, looking at the fixture list at the games we've got left to play, I think this is about one of the easiest. And I'll be really disappointed if we can't beat Blackburn. Really disappointed because, as you say, they are in free fall. They're a club. They are the definition of a club in turmoil, aren't they? And they are forever going to be in turmoil. That's how I see it now. Whatever division they're in, and I can only see them getting lower and not higher, they're always going to be in turmoil. How long may it continue?
I'll tell you what, it does take away that excuse, you know, when people go, "Oh, we've got no money." They have, and they're still bloody.
Yeah. They've got no money and a new manager. Well, you have a new manager every week. Yeah. Right? So you should be used to that by now.
I mean, looking back at the Blackburn results, the last win they had was actually in the FA Cup against Arsenal. That was back in, was it February? Around mid-February. So, I mean, they actually won a game since then. Lots of losses and lots of draws since then. And nothing. So, I mean, it's got to be there for the taking, haven't the chaps?
Well, especially now that Robinson's suffering from bumper clot. He's going to be out for 6 months, isn't he?
Yeah. all I can do is echo what I've already said. We have got to beat these. Not only does a win against them put them below us, and gives us it brings another team right into the thick of it all. It puts us away from bottom, doesn't it? And that's what we need. And as you keep saying, Fudge, the rest of them, will you just sod off and lose?
Just bugger off. Just die, will you? It's like we're trying to kill something that you need to pull out of its misery. In fact, have you ever seen Me, Myself and Irene when he tries to kill that cat? He just won't die.
I've got another bit for you here, actually. I've just found a bit. Doctor Who, Matt Smith, says the owners... He's a Blackburn Rovers fan, did you not know that?
He's embarrassed.
He is embarrassed.
Yeah.
He used to play for him, did he?
I'm sure he used to play for him, absolutely. He definitely used to be a footballer.
Well, they could do with him now, couldn't they?
I'm going to Google it now. I've got to find that out.
Matt Smith. I think he played at a really high youth level and had some trouble with his knee injury or something along those sort of lines. But he has played quite a high level of football.
Oh, here we go. He plans to play professional football, having played for youth teams of Northampton, Nottingham Forest and Leicester City.
That's the high reaches of football, as I said.
Yeah, Midlands.
And then went on to become Doctor Who. Interesting. Yeah, but I mean, it's once we've stuffed Blackburn and we've got Millwall coming up, and you've got to be said, chaps. I mean, Millwall's game after us is the FA Cup with Wigan. So you've got to be thinking they're going to have one eye on that. It's only let's work it out. 4 days after the playoffs, so they've got that huge game in the FA Cup. So do you think they're going to be concentrating on that and not on us? I mean, the league position seems decent. Can they fall?
Their league position's precarious purely for the fact that they've got 2 games in hand over everybody else around them. But we've got a game in hand over everybody else around them as well. So for them, it's quite a big 6-pointer. And to rest some of their best players for a cup game would be suicide for them. It's a bit ridiculous.
Well, can we not do a deal with them? Because their other game in hand is against Blackburn. Can we not say to them, you win the game against Blackburn, which will put you on 54 points and probable safety, but let us have the 3 points against you. And we're all helping each other out and putting Blackburn into Division 1.
Sounds like fun.
Sounds all right. Yeah, I'll take that.
And I've got to tell you, I really don't hold with this, with Millwall having one eye on Cup, because there's absolutely no way they can think that they're going to get much further or do anything in Cup. It's just an extra game. They will put out a team against us that they think will beat us. Because the league's far more important, isn't it?
Of course it is. And anyway, Mark Beavers will do us a favour anyway. He weren't that bloody good any road.
He's been dropped too late, hasn't he?
Well, turns up, has a couple of decent games, and then, it's Mark Beavers, we know how he works. I mean, if Millwall go down, how many times would Mark Beavers have been relegated from the Championship? but then we were all up in arms that he'd sold him, but he'll be on hat-trick of relegations. Do you know what I mean?
I think you'll find I never liked him.
Yeah, we were all slagging him off.
Absolutely. So again, looking at that league table at the moment, then, chaps. I mean, it's looking a bit iffy down there. We've asked the question before, but how many points do you think we're going to need to be safe?
A million.
Yeah, I think a million should just about do it.
A million. But then again, Barnsley and Peterborough get a million as well, so we need 1,000,001.
I mean, the daft thing is now that everybody is getting excited about Leeds being one of them bottom 3 teams, aren't they? How good would that be? How good would it be if Leeds were one of the 3 teams to be relegated? We're talking about clubs in free fall, and we're talking about Blackburn plummeting down division. But Leeds haven't won in about 28 million years.
Oh, Colin's gone as well, hasn't he?
And Colin's gone, and they've got Redfern in charge until end of season.
Well, I'd say, is that Neil Redfern?
It is the same Neil Redfern.
Anybody who watched football in the late 90s and early 2000s know that if you signed Neil Redfern, you were going down.
Exactly, he's the Ashley Ward. Another one that always likes to get relegated, he's the Mark Beavers. Right? Redfern is the man. He's going to drag him down. How good would that be?
Well, we did say it earlier on in the season, chaps, that one of our goals this year should be to come above Leeds in the table, and it's looking like it's an achievable goal now, boys.
Oh, that would be fantastic. If we could just hold our nerve over these last few games, keep ourselves up, keep this general spirit going and this good bit of form going, finish above them, get them in bottom three. Oh yeah, I'd have that. And if we could put Wolves in there as well, and maybe Blackpool, that'd be even better. I know it's asking a fair bit, but there you go.
So then, chaps, obviously we're still full of optimisticness, aren't we?
Oh yeah, I'm full of optimisticness. Is that the same as optimism?
It's the same sort of thing, but it's the more fancy version for us. So then, chaps, let's have a prediction for you first of all. Fudgy, let's have yours first, please. So, boy, for the Blackburn game.
I think we're going to win. Right, we're going to win 2-0 Blackburn, and I think we're probably going to draw against Millwall.
Okay, that'll be your boy. What do you reckon?
I'm going to go for 5-1 against Blackburn.
Ooh.
And I'm going to go for 1-0 against Miwo.
Very nice. So I think I'm going to have it's about time we had a game where we didn't have to use quite as much squeaky bum cream, so I'm going to do with a 3-0 win over Blackburn, and I think Millwall, that probably might be a squeaky bum game, maybe 2-1 with Millwall there, so we shall see. I'm sure one day, chaps, one of our wonderful listeners out there will actually do a league table and find out just how well we've done on these predictions, because we never actually followed them up. So then, chaps, that's around about it from me for this week. Have you guys got any other Wednesday news that we can follow?
Today is the anniversary of us beating Sheffield United on the day we've recorded this, so it's 20 years since Chrissy Waddell and his sublime free kick put us in front of the Blunt in 1993. Well done, Chris.
Oh, fantastic fact, oh boy, absolutely.
And a magnificent erection he had.
Oh, the celebration, if you get to see that picture, scoring goals gets Chris Waddle very excited.
To be fair, there's not a lot that doesn't get Chris Waddle very excited. Right, so, chaps, let's have a big hoorah for the couple of games coming up. We've got for the hour.
Hurrah!
Thank you very much, PC. Of course, if you want to get hold of the show, you get hold of us over there at TWWcast over there on Twitter. You can email us, and of course, all the other contact details are over there at www.thewednesdayweek.com. Beastie, if people want to follow your love for Steve Yard, where can they find you over there on the interwebs?
You can get in touch with me at hashtag fruitbag all over the place, or at owlsalive.com, or on Twitter at beastie_.
Fantastic. Fudgy, old boy, where can people find out all your Wednesday-based nonsense?
I'm on Twitter at FudgeandDave. Everybody's got a mate called Dave. Find me there.
Fantastic. And of course you can get hold of me over there on Twitter at LordH, that's L0RD_H, and come and have a little sing along on the games as well. So then, chaps, that's around about it. All that's left is to thank everybody very much for listening, and we shall see you very soon.